Hey, welcome back to another riveting episode of the Doucheless Vegan. This is a giddy guide to how to live a delicious life without being a dick with the vegan king himself, Michael Stewart Webb. And I'm Carla Collins, and we're basically the Merv Griffin and Ava Gabor of our generation. Like
That's right.
Present times. I know, because those two dated, air quotes, and, like you're the mogul, and I'm Ava trying to get used to life on a farm in my high heels.
I know. You know what?
High
I
heels.
love that show, Green Acres. I remember watching it on a lunchtime.
Really?
Yeah, I loved
There was
it.
a pig that was prominent in that show,
Yes,
right?
there was. I can't remember its name.
I keep trying to work you for a pig here, but it's
Yeah, not happening.
All right. Well, although I may have won one battle, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
So we're thrilled you're with us. So here's the situation. You do not need to be vegan. We don't care. You know, it may not be right for everybody. I've met a couple people in the last little while. Fiance, by the way, he's my gay fiance, and I'm his 1950s beard, who call themselves pagans because they do a combination of paleo and vegan.
Oh,
Which
interesting.
apparently is very similar.
Not to be confused with witchcraft or druids or anything
No,
like that.
that's me. I'm a born-again Wiccan. I'm now just saying "mote it be" a lot and chanting. I'm summoning some demons. Not even joking, apparently.
Yes,
Anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
We're having port tonight.
Yes,
We'll
we
also
are.
be talking about a movement where people have stopped drinking. Not us, though.
I'm so sorry for all of those people
Yeah,
who have sworn off alcohol.
We're still going to cheers it up. But, so paleo and vegan apparently have a lot of similarities. Mostly neither one of them, they're like, boo, dairy, so no dairy.
Okay.
Paleo, though, does eat some organic meat, and they're both also very organic, of the earth type of thing. So a lot of people are like a hybrid, like the Prius of the two, which is cool. So you have to do what's good for you. I'm a newbie with this. Fiance has been vegetarian and vegan most of his life. I just joined the bandwagon 5 months ago.
The vegan ban life. But you've always lived a very healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I've lived a pretty healthy. Yeah, it wasn't horrible but I've gone to In-N-Out Burger and whatnot. And I'm like the biggest poster child cheerleader for it. So we're not doctors or experts. Well, you're kind of an expert in veganism, but we're just telling you what it's like for us. We talk about all kinds of things, from this to shit that's woo-woo and fitness, and mostly it's just an excuse for you and I to record one of our conversations here, because I live in LA. I came to the farm in September of 2020, and I'm still here.
Amen. There is a God.
Well, you're so sweet. Every time I say that, I'm like, because really, anyone else would be, okay, when's this bitch going? I don't understand why she's, hi. It's just me trying to blend in with the furniture. Maybe he won't notice I'm still here. But we have been having the time of our lives.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so thrilled that you introduced me to the vegan lifestyle, like full on, because it's been A, really easy, and B, like 3,000 benefits.
It's really been quite profound for you. And I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, it
but
has been. Look, I'm very skeptical. And as much as I'm gullible and naive, you know me, I joined a cult in a heartbeat, which obviously I did. Veganism. But I also have a healthy dose of, I'm the eldest born. I'm very practical. And my mom always taught me to look at results or actions over flowery words. Despite that, I still was with a lot of men who were flowery word guys.
Oh, you and me both, sister.
What can you do?
I know.
And this, we had this photo shoot this week. So exciting.
Phenomenal.
With one of your besties.
One of my dear friends, yeah. Simone Frank.
Fell in love with her. We're sister wives now. We're sister trophy wives. This is so hot. Simone Frank Photography, big shout out.
Yeah.
Same with Jody from McKnight Mod Makeup.
Yes.
Who did my makeup. So for me, it's for the cover art for my upcoming comedy album.
I know. How exciting is that? Your new album drops next month.
It does, April 9th. I'm so excited. We're calling it Pandepic! Exclamation mark.
It's a phenomenal album. I had the privilege of listening to some of the masters, and it really is a great album. You snuck it in there between shutdowns in Toronto
and hecklers. And really, there's only like about 30 or 40 people in the crowd, but it sounds pretty rich. And I had to deal with very drunken, I think, coked up billionaires personally. I'm just going to say it.
Yes.
In the balcony of billionaires. But You know, and Millen Curry Sharples, whom I used to work with at CTV.
Unbelievable. This guy he's a genius, honest to God.
He's extraordinary, and he's a huge perfectionist. And when Michael Weckerly, who is the owner of the El Macombo, told Millen that I was in town, Millen said, I love working with Carla. I will edit this. I want to be a part of this for free. So it's very cool, because they're just like, I don't know how many albums are going to come out this year.
Well, probably none, because, let's face it. I mean, aside from you, there are very few comics that could pull off decent comedy in an empty room, right? You are Carla Marie Collins, for Christ's sake. I
know, CMC, but it worked out. It just turned out really well. The quality is great, amazing. And it's all new stuff. Because I had a Recovery Nudist was just launched like less than a year ago, so it's
very timely.
Yeah, and so, but it's not like when people are like, I don't want to hear about the pandemic, and that's how they say it. I don't want to see that. But it's very uplifting. It's funny. And of course, there's also a bit of edge, because I had to deal with drunken, coked out billionaires. So it's not my usual nice all the time. But I'm thrilled with it. And so Michael Bean of the Michael Stewart Web Media Group, you asked me, what do you envision for the cover? And we both said, like, it's going to be a ring light. You're on Zoom. The bottom is just a mess, pajamas, but the top is like, I'm trying. And, of course, just my typical hair, as I've been rocking pandemic hair.
It's akin to a mullet, right? Business in the front, party in the back.
It's really party in the back. So I say all this for shameless self-promotion, because I want you to get it, because I think you like it, but also to have a photo shoot. And as you know, prior to landing here in Canada, I was in this modeling competition. Don't ask. But we did a bunch of photo shoots, which were wonderful, with Model Hunt International. Came in second, bitches. And, I was one of the older ones. But when I know, of course, Duke has found a squeaky toy. Or I'll just do this so people think it's my breast, and they're like, wow, that's amazing. Yes, that's what the vegan diet does. But I did notice when we saw the proofs, and of course, Simone's extraordinary. The makeup artist was ridiculously magical. But I really did see, like, my pictures are amazing. The skin is amazing. I feel like that's because, the biggest change for me, everything else has sort of been the same. I still work out every day, which I did this week. I'm very sore. That was one of the first things I wanted to bring up this week, is that for me, I noticed a big difference. Just seems to be glowing. And again, hello, I'm very, very vain. So if that's working, I will never not be vegan.
That's kind of how you manifest, change metabolically, though, right? I mean, for some people, it presents in toilet habits. For other people,
habits.
Well, like
hashtag TM.
Yeah, well. I'm trying to be as delicate as possible, which is
yes.
always a bad idea for me, because we both know that I'm very blunt and laconic, and I really have no filter. So I always end up with egg on my face when I try to be PC or a little more delicate.
Are my lawyers. Yes. So, but you're right. Yeah. So that was
So for some people, I mean, change happens for them, in the bathroom sometimes.
Of course. Well, your body lets you know. I mean,
absolutely.
It comes out, our skin being our biggest organ.
Absolutely.
So I just, we were looking at the proofs, and I said, Michael, I'm telling you, for me,
your skin looks phenomenal.
I see a big difference.
Yeah. And that was pre-edit.
It was anti-aging. Yeah, it was. These were not photoshopped.
No, it was pre-edit, and your skin looks phenomenal.
You know why we know that? Because I do happen to have a zit on my skin that's visible. The way
it was still there.
You know that Honest Ed's is gone, and that used to be visible from the moon. Now it's just my zit, but that's fine. That's youthful. That was still there, but untouched photos. So for me. And that's just one. I mean, that's the most superficial reason. But what do you want? Come on, sugar lips.
Well, as we said in the last episode, right? I mean, your skin being the biggest organ in your body. If it is healthier, then so too is everything on the inside of your skin, right?
Which I'm feeling, because I do also feel amazing, and that is the important thing. Especially going through this, there are enough stresses.
Oh, hell
for
yeah.
example, my entire industry has been decimated. So I know that there's been extra stress for everyone, really.
Absolutely. I mean, everyone's waking out.
With the exception of Jeff Bezos, and then he had the ex-wife to deal with. But we've all been under stress.
Yeah, everyone is struggling. Families are working from home, which is creating additional layers of stress. People are spending 24/7 with their families, which is something you don't ordinarily do, which I think is also very unhealthy.
Or teach your kids.
Well, Jesus
the entire time,
Christ.
along with everything else you're doing.
I can't even imagine.
So, and to that point with the vegan diet, so something has happened twice since I've been on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm volleying it over to you, sweetheart.
Oh, yes. What am I supposed to be talking to?
Well, because this is a beautiful horse farm, and
Thank you
you are very butch.
I'm a lesbian trapped in a gay man's body.
You really are, and I've been very impressed and sometimes slightly aroused, but
much to my chagrin.
what are we going to do, right? But one of my first weeks here, I don't know, you had a run-in with a fence coming back from bringing the horses inside.
That's an interesting story.
And you didn't even interrupt I was talking to my older gentleman lover, and you're just like, hey, and you look like a scene from The Shining, like it was just pouring, like what kind of
gushing
bad
blood
cheap Canadian horror show am I watching? You had blood gushing from your, and I'm like, I said, okay, I have to go, and you're like, it's fine, and you have this experience. You're like, I'm tough as old boots.
I am, though. I have like a ridiculous pain threshold,
which is great, but I think more importantly, you hail like
an alien.
You like an alien. You hail.
Do.
You know me. I'm also drunk after one drink at all time. I'm the cheapest drunk in the world. That's why men love me. But you do heal like an alien.
I do. And so that particular day, I think it was pitch black and there was no moon, and I didn't have a flashlight. I know, and I was on my way back from the barn after putting the horses to bed for the night, and I can't remember what was going on, but I felt for some reason there was a rush to get back to the house. I think we were supposed to be hopping on a Zoom with somebody.
Yeah, you're like me. When we get preoccupied and we both have a bit of ADD.
Yeah, I just get in my own head, right?
Then we're gone.
I'm not paying attention.
And you're not in your own world.
Exactly.
Well, you're in your own world, but you're not in this world.
Exactly, right? I'm in my head and I'm just ignoring my surroundings, which happens quite frequently, much to sadly. So that particular night I was, on a mission and almost in a full-on jog back to the house, and I wasn't paying any attention to where I was going, and I ended up running into a fence, and
you should see the fence.
And ended up gashing my face open.
Like, oh my god, I've been away from Carla for 20 minutes now.
Yeah, that's it.
Obviously, that's it. But yeah, and it was surreal. And again, this week, you also, look, it's farm life, and you're on a tractor and stuff happens. Yeah. You again bashed your face.
I did, and so this particular time, they're healing up.
You're
you're looking at me right. And this is like what, 36 hours or something.
If that, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was going to say not quite 48 hours.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I have a coverall riding arena here, and we lost the arena. Like the building collapsed under some snow load, and
it happened a few weeks ago, and that's why one of our shows was a little bit tense. I wanted to come clean with it, but
oh my god, yeah, like it's a total disaster.
It was
like everything
really
inside,
catastrophic. You've been,
totally.
And the other thing is, by the way, vegan diet helping you deal with stress. I'm not kidding, because you were like, I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. This is horrific. And within about 48 hours, you were pretty that's amazing to me too. And I'm noticing that with myself, because I'm very, Chihuahua and meth, like, well, we're all going to die. What am I going to do? And I don't think I have that anymore. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you just deal, right?
Let me handle.
You put things in perspective, but
I think that has to do with diet too.
I would say so. Like everything is diet, right? Yeah. It's food is medicine.
In your body.
Absolutely, food is medicine. So, we lost the coverall, and for those of you who don't know what a coverall is, it's a fabric building. That's
like your insurance company know what a fucking coverall was.
I know, bastards. So that's another episode.
It is, but I just had to put that in.
So anyway, I'm dealing with the continued demolition of this building so that I can rebuild. And so a coverall building is essentially fabric, a canvas that's a plastic canvas that's kind of stretched over tube steel girders, rafters. And so I'm in there because my ex-husband's truck is trapped in there and is totally demolished. But
a lot of drama over this.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So yeah, and you won't let anyone else go in there.
No, because I'm a control freak, and you can appreciate this. But so anyway, I'm in there. I'm chopping things up, and there's girders hanging everywhere, and I'm not watching what I'm doing because once again, I'm in my own little world. I'm planning,
Further world domination.
Exactly. You know, and I'm always
the vegans
miles.
rise.
I'm always miles ahead of myself, right? Like planning for the future. And so I'm just, you know, I'm on autopilot and I turn around and I end up like, you know, ripping my face open on this dangling piece of steel.
We're getting less sleep than a Thai hooker and Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry to be politically incorrect, but we don't care. Cancel me then.
Yeah, we don't do PC on this show.
We can't. We're trying to give you a break from that. But yeah, so you were also exhausted, sweetie.
Oh, sure I was.
And so that's going to happen. But once again,
here I am 2 days, not even 2 days later, and I'm healing up.
That's your effing face.
I know.
Like,
they were pretty deep gashes,
part of
I
your
have
body
to say.
where you're like, nah. It's your mug.
Yeah.
And for some people,
it's everything.
And you don't scar. And I can't help it. Like that alone, I'm like, this vegan.
I attribute it to diet. And I've always healed really, really well.
And look, some people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, some of it's got to be genetics. But, you know,
sure.
And it's hard for me to speculate because I've lived this lifestyle for so damn long. But, you know, any time I have been unwell or, you know, through any surgeries or anything like that, I've always healed very, very quickly. I mean, I shared with you a story the other day about my liposuction. In my late 20s, I had lipo.
I was like, what's this?
I know. Well, I was, you know, as a kid, I was a porker. And
as a lot of people were.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, I was traumatized by it, but I lost a shit ton of weight. And I was, you know, jogging 12 kilometers every day. And there was just a few areas that I wasn't happy with.
You want some nipping and tucking? Who
sure. Like, and who cares, right? As long as you're feeling better about yourself. So, and I
who are you talking to? Hi, I can't. You know what comes on my breast? Glitter. They're not mine, the least.
I make no apologies for it. And you know what? I'm an advocate of plastic surgery if it's for the right reasons.
You just want to become like these housewives who start to look like Steven Tyler.
Nobody wants to look like. I love Steven Tyler, but I don't want to look like him.
Well, you know,
or Michael Jackson,
of course. And like again, it's your body. That's why we're doing this show.
Absolutely,
do what works for you.
But you know, so I had my liposuction. I can't even talk now. I had my liposuction, suction surgery.
Look, I don't know what you were up to now.
I don't even know. I'm still exhausted.
If it was like some type of transplant where the. Did you have a blood boil?
Listen,
like
in my defense, these bloody dogs have me up at 3:30 every bloody morning.
They do. I have to say that there's not a lot of sleep that goes on in a row on the farm, and we have to because this, you know,
sleep's important.
I'm hearing from every dietitian, from every doctor, it's literally the number one important thing.
Yeah.
And I know myself, I don't get enough sleep, then I eat like crazy. It's like it's like being hungover, but you don't have the fun of the night before. So yeah, you do need to get more sleep, but
absolutely,
you were sleep deprived, you got injured, but of course, I mean, you're fine like less than 2 days later.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wasn't even fazed by it, right? And so coming back full circle, you know, and it's all supposition, of course, but one would have to surmise that a little bit of that might have to do with diet. You know, one's ability to heal quickly. Mm-hmm. You know,
yeah.
So if there's any physicians out there listening to us, then maybe you want to validate.
Or you're like regenerating, like we could cut off your arm. I want to see if another one grows back. Let's start our own, like
a frog or a salamander.
Do some of our own experiments here at the farm. But I knew like going into this week that I wanted to chat about that because, you know me, I have the enthusiasm of like a young child, and I get really excited about these things, and I like being sort of like this little beaker laboratory experiment because it was quite a radical change for me. Mm-hmm. And again, you and I are, one of the reasons we're madly in love is because we don't have a gray area. We're black and white. I'm all in or I'm not in at all.
Yeah.
So there wasn't going to be like, and that's fine if you're just a weekend vegan. That's what we really want to encourage, that because it's like, try it and see how you feel.
Yeah.
But for me, I went full on.
You did.
And I'm just thrilled with the results. I just am. So
that makes me so happy.
So for me, it just whatever my body chemistry, I feel like that's really worked. And I wanted to mention this, and another reason we get along well, and you said you should really bring this up, is because we both have the sense of humor and the sensibility of a 14-year-old straight boy.
Yes, we laugh at farts.
Farts are super funny, which is good because, by the way, when you become vegan, at least for moi, what the hell? Very hard for me to be my sex symbol self, darling. And it's always like, but great for my comedy career. So hormonally yours. And again, I never bring this up. Ask anyone I've dated. I could not say my period to the point where my ex-husband said, I'm sorry, Carla, is this a Kabbalah thing you're trying to explain to me? He really thought I was doing some kind of Wiccan ritual because I wouldn't say.
You couldn't talk about it?
Aunt Flo. So I'll just say for these purposes, Aunt Flo. If it's Aunt Flo, a hormonal imbalance, if you suffer from endometriosis, which is even way more severe than I've ever had for a lot, it's really big for a lot of women, or the menopause, perimenopause, Perry Mason menopause. That's Aunt Maggie Castella's joke. She's a comedian and a former lawyer, so I want to give credit where credit's due. Can I say that the more research I've done, the vegan diet, because that's something that, a lot of women suffer from. I have, and it's miraculous that way. And I've done so much reading, and again, like find out you can't be just having chips and say, well, it's not doing anything for me. But I did some research, and I don't know, this diet plus the right supplements and just certain foods that I think we talked about in other shows like cinnamon, avocado, ginger root, flaxseed. It's extraordinary. And I know for most women, like that's a really big hassle, no matter whether you're 13 or 103, because it really regulates, like everything is hormones. I mean, the Wim Hof method that I'm going to get into, he talks about that. Like so much of it is hormones. I'm sure men and women. I just haven't done as much research about guys because whatever. Put your own dick in your hands and figure it out. I'm not going to research that. But I have to say, like, that's been a huge thing too.
Okay, so I might be a Mo, but lady stuff I still don't understand. So if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, is that this diet will help.
It balances your hormones, so no cramps.
Interesting.
Or no matter what stage you're going through, it takes away. And I mean, because I thought, what's going on? Because it really seems to be working for me, and I'm not having the issues I did. And then again, our buddy, Dr. Neil Barnard, talks about how in some cases for women who were scheduled for a hysterectomy, it reversed their endometriosis, where they went on to have babies.
What?
They didn't have, because I have
like being on a plant-based diet helped reverse endometriosis.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty.
Because he's all about not just living with something, he's
right?
About not just curing it; it's reversing it.
Wow.
Right? So, and I can speak to that because that's always been an issue, and Flo's just been an issue with me. Has not been, and for that reason alone. The vegan diet to me is like the titties and beer.
That's pretty incredible. And,
and because here's the thing, guys, and I just want to talk to the ladies, and I know because, when it's that time, whatever of the month, or whenever your hormones are flaring, what we want, it's always like, oh, I want to have a chocolate and pizza, and right? You want the comfort food, which is, of course, the worst thing we could do. The worst thing you could do.
You're just exacerbating the problem.
Or booze or any of the things that is just bad. As smoking's horrible for any kind of thing, but that's exactly what you want to do at that time. So I'm just urging people, give this a try because it seems to completely eradicate or
that's incredible.
Remove any of those problems.
That's incredible. And I don't want to get too personal, but you have in the past kind of talked about your fibroids too.
I do.
And
and which a lot of women have, and because mine aren't, and I'm not a big surgery person for
obvious reasons.
New breast, sure, but the rest, and it's also shrunk my fibroid.
That's pretty incredible.
And I mean, there's a lot like, my fibroid, it flared up again when my mom passed away. It's very like stress, of course, is a killer, and is one of the number one things we talk about. Sleep, stress is another one, and so again, I'm not a doctor, but what I would postulate is that I think the vegan diet does quite a bit to help your stress. So again, when I'm saying hormones, I don't even mean just the chick hormones. I mean stress hormones, right? Cortisol, which we need some of that. We need some cortisol. We just have to, everything has to be in balance. And at least for me, it's been really quite a radical difference.
Well, that's really quite a testimonial.
It is.
To the
because
diet.
I mean, I've been saying I'm not having enough, because I can mind over matter this fibroid or whatever. And mostly because I want my Thor flat. It's just again very superficial, but I want my abs, and it's really not an issue anymore.
That's incredible.
So for that, and I don't even, and it's a gradual thing. The other thing is we don't notice when things are great, right? That's why all of our growth is, and look, even earlier this week, I was in a funk. I think depression's going to come in and out, especially during this time.
Well, fuck, you're still human.
Right? It's going to happen. So I just think, but how fast can you rise from the ashes, my little phoenix? How, and then when things are going okay, you don't notice. So it was really just recently that I even said to you, dude, I'm not having any of the issues I did.
Well, yeah, it was just the other night, as a matter of fact.
Because you don't, again, when things are great, you're not like taking...
You're not taking notes.
Notes and score, and you're like, oh my goodness.
That was a particularly delightful period.
Yeah, fantastic. A+. It paired well with pork. So I just think for that reason, ladies, all the single ladies, and again, really, it's never something to talk about, but this is how strongly I feel about this and how beneficial I think this can be.
And you know what? Why don't we talk about this shit?
Because again, I like to remain 12. I don't know, because it's like oogly to me. You listen, how many shows have we done where you're like, ew? And
I'm not talking about you and me. I don't want to know about it. But I mean, in general, why is this such taboo stuff?
No, I don't think it is. That's more of a me issue.
Oh, okay.
There is something called Menopause the Musical. And people love to, I don't know, if my socials would believe, people love to talk about Aunt Flo. And I have to tell you, this reminds me, one of my best friends who listens, we go back a million years, Era Melinda Beaucaire, my first TV job, The Weather Network. And I remember, and they're both Facebook friends, Les Criffenden and Era Melinda had both been there for a couple of years. So, and it was my first, you don't even know, I was 24, I'm on national TV. I'm like, I have made it. I'm on Canada's Weather Network, and wonderful people there. And one night, and we just had a blast on our shift. Les, who now does the weather and is a big weather guy in Vegas, was spinning Era Melinda around. And she said, "Oh, not now, Les. I'm on my period." And that to me, I ran, jumped under the couch, and she's been my hero ever since. That she could just talk about it that openly.
God, I know. I just have all kinds of wrong images.
Well, she just wasn't feeling well. She was like, don't jostle me. But I was like, she's a period.
See, I was thinking, I'm a 14-year-old boy, clearly. I was thinking centrifugal force.
No.
Like,
she's not projectile.
Breaking the walls.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I have this this is a funny story about this yoga instructor who was in Malibu. It's like, I bet I am so... and I'm sure still was ridiculously beautiful, Michael. And she's from Canada.
Like more beautiful than you?
Yes, I know.
How's that possible?
More beautiful than me. But might I say, she had Fred Flintstone feet, and my feet should be on magazine covers.
You do have
sensational feet.
And they're size 8.
I know. And they used to be 7s.
What?
They've grown, like my nose. But I have tiny feet. I think it was my earlier smoking. Like, well, this will stunt these puppies. So... Lydia's just absolutely ridiculously gorgeous. And then she did meet this douchebag French guy, by the way, who didn't speak English. And I spoke French. I'm like, he's a total dick, please. Anyway, didn't matter. So one time after class, she's like, I have the most hilarious story for you. So me and I can't remember his name. Let's just say Jean. Jean and I were in Europe dancing, and he was wearing white pants, and we were doing a little dirty dancing. And then, map of Japan. And he said... This is a gift for me. Now, the whole time, here's what my brain was doing. Like, I didn't want to hear any of this.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it now.
And but you want to know my first thought? I'm like, what kind of douchebag wears white pants? That's how immature I am. I'm like, a doink is in white pants. Also, yikes.
Oh,
so
my.
I think, no, most mature. Oh, my God. I'm going to have so much feedback about this. Ladies, I'm working on it. I just shared all this stuff to help. But I know. I have a hang-up about it. Whatever. I'm Catholic.
We all have a
Please
hang-up.
blame some French-Canadian Saint Ignace, private public school or whatever, Catholic public school back in Sault Ste. Marie. But yeah, so anyway, let's jump off this. It's really great for hormones. Take it away from here. Do your own research. I refuse to say anything more.
Next subject. So we'll take it.
This is not enough port for me to talk about this, Bob. That's why guys like me.
Oh
like, she does not talk about her chick things. I'm like, no, I do not. So I'm always married or engaged. I feel like I'm sweaty.
I am. It's not the lighting.
You should talk about that this week, Carla. You're not a help at all.
So we're gonna segue from menstruation. Let's segue from menstruation into hummus.
As you do. Well, never see this. No segue from menstruation. Please don't say menstruation. Wandering menstrual. Oh my God. That would be horrifying.
I really wish we could go to a commercial break right now.
Oh my God. Oh, look at the time. That's it. Join us next week on the Doucheless Vegan.
Oh my God. What do we talk? Hemorrhoids?
I know.
Oh, jeez.
What's the silkiest panty liner?
Just don't.
Right. Yes, we're gonna go. Anyway, woo!
Yeah, next.
Michael's recipe. His recipe.
Oh my God! So last week, I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to talk hummus now with a straight face.
Oh my
God! So last week we talked about guacamole.
Yes. Because this is like our miscongeniality.
Yes.
Whether you're vegan or vegetarian, or if you're like the biggest meat eater in the world, you're gonna love.
Everyone loves guac, and everyone loves hummus.
But what we didn't know, and I like the way you say hummus, is okay. I'm gonna say this right out of the gate. For me personally, I don't like store-bought hummus. I just don't. You know, you've had it and it stayed in your. It went bad.
I know you never touched it. I know.
For me, it's a bit like cookies because I don't have a big sweet tooth. Like cookies that you buy at a store have never blown my skirt up. If somebody made homemade cookies, though, I'm like, I'm doing tricks, I'm rolling over, I'm begging. And it's the same with your hummus.
Hummus.
Yours is amazing.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Amazing. So, again, that's just a personal thing. You can get it at the store, but it's so easy to make on your own.
My God.
Please make your own because it's so much better.
And there's no preservatives in the stuff you make at home, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what you're getting.
And the thing is, like, with the stuff you're making at home, you can kind of zhuzh it up. If you like it a little heavier on the garlic, then add more garlic. If you like a little bit lighter, if you want it a little more acidic, add a little bit more citrus.
Lemon. Yes.
So you can modify it to suit your own taste. And it's so easy. Like it takes you 10 minutes if you have a food processor and a couple of cans of chickpeas and a handful of other ingredients.
Just a blender or a bullet. Most people have a Ninja or bullet.
You could do a bullet.
That too.
Absolutely, you could do it in a bullet.
My ex used to make it in just like a bullet. And
sure, you could do that. Absolutely, you could. So, so we're gonna throw up our recipe.
Yes.
We'll put that on our socials. But it's super simple. It's just chickpeas, some lemon juice. Olive oil, yeah. So you drizzle the olive oil in as you're blitzing it to kind of get the consistency you want and emulsify everything. Mm-hmm. Roasted garlic. I prefer roasted garlic because you have the flavor, but you don't have that.
Yeah, that's right. So what's the difference between just like chopped or minced garlic and roasted garlic?
So roasted garlic, I mean, the process is roasting and so the beautiful thing about that is you get all of that delicious garlic flavor, but you don't get that that punch in the face kind of offensive, over the top,
overwhelming, right?
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
It's more subtle, and it's less bitter. Like chopped garlic has a tendency sometimes to be kind of bitter, but you don't have that with roasted garlic. So the whole process of roasting is kind of converting the sugars in the bulb.
Right, and I mean, roasted garlic is delicious.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, you could slam
that
on toast, and in fact, we sometimes, we'll do that sometimes, right? We'll roast a clove of garlic and
there's a restaurant in LA called the Stinking Rose that's all garlic meals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And garlic is so good for you.
So good for you.
Yeah, it's so good for you.
And you put a bunch of spices in this.
I do. Yeah. So in my recipe, I throw cumin in there, just to kind of get that smoky flavor. And cumin is also very good for you. I throw, I'm all over Vegeta, whatever the hell you call it.
Every time. The Vegeta monologues.
I love it, and
it's so good.
It is.
I didn't know you were putting it in everything. I'm like, what the hell?
Pretty
Why
much.
am I just find this out? Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, it's one of my favorite.
So good.
Yeah, it is good. But you just have to be careful with it because there is salt in it. And, you know, you don't want to overdo it with the salt. But it provides such a phenomenal boost to whatever it is that you're cooking, be that, you know, hummus or even the guac, or if you're doing a soup or something like that. It just, you know, elevates things.
Yeah.
And then I also put in my hummus some liquid smoke, just to kind of give it that nice smoky flavor. And that helps bring out some of the cumin attributes as well with the liquid smoke. But
it's so good. And we topped it, this batch off, as we did the last one, with sambal, S-A-M-B-A-L. That Asian, fantastic, hot sort of chili.
Yeah. It's so good.
It's ridiculous.
So
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They really should sponsor our show because we're always giving them blowies like sambal.
It's phenomenal. It's so good. It's so good. And, you know, I know that you're not a fan of the store-bought hummus, but my favorite store-bought hummus, if I have to buy store-bought hummus, is the supremely spicy samba.
Yeah.
And I buy that for...
Is it Sambra? Or
Sambra, who knows? God, tomato, you know, God, Kenny Rogers, tomato, whatever.
I'm just going to look that up.
But is it Samba? I don't know.
I feel like it's Sambra. But,
it might be Sambra. Carla's looking it up right now.
Yeah,
but
Sambra hummus.
Sambra, okay. So my favorite of their product line would be the supremely spicy, because we've already established that we're total heat junkies.
To that end, we always say, like, you can adjust.
Yeah, to suit your own personal taste.
Recipes.
Yeah.
We had a friend.
Oh,
Emily.
yes.
Emily always gets. We love Emily. Who was like, I'm like a fire-breathing dragon over here. And you and I are just like, I literally could eat fire, I think. So,
I know. I did not understand her complaint, but that's like, okay.
What's going on? What do you mean? And it was
the roasted, the spicy roasted red pepper and tomato soup.
Because you threw in a jalapeno, didn't you?
I know. I trod.
You're like, there's nothing hot in here. And I'm like, well, jalapenos are hot for some people.
I suppose. I mean, her husband might enjoy it.
In my margaritas, like a tequila jalapeno margarita is ridiculous. So, but for a lot of people, they're
more sensitive to the heat, right? But there is a lot of advantage if you want to kind of slowly acclimate yourself to some spicy foods. There are a lot of health benefits to introducing some spicy foods to your diet. And so I was having this text exchange that you were party to with them.
At one point I just went and did a class because I'm like, oh, these two are really going on.
Oh, she was cursing
my
us.
ADD, I'm like, I can't. And she's like, listen, I literally can see smoke coming out of my mouth. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, wait till the morning, honey. But I remember
sometimes I'd say to my colon therapist, to Eloise, like, whoopsie, I got to remember when I'm coming to see you, because that's when you really shouldn't do anything spicy, because you're like, hello.
Yeah.
So
like the winds of Krakatoa.
You don't want that, but so out of the gate, and probably anybody listening knows, it's good for your metabolism. We've always heard that it speeds up your metabolism, but you found so many other little nuggets.
So during this conversation with Emily, she was asking, I'm just, slowly acclimate yourself. It's really, a spicy diet is good for you. There's all kinds of scientific evidence to support that it is. And she's like, oh yeah. And so Em is a clinician. She's a vet tech.
Yes.
And so she's all science-based, right? Mm-hmm. And to her credit.
She's just an extraordinary woman.
A phenomenal human being. Yeah. So I started doing some more research into the health benefits of, I knew anecdotally that a spicier diet was good for you for a number of reasons. But interestingly enough, through all of this research, we found out that introducing spicy foods to your diet improves heart health.
I wouldn't have known that.
I know, me either, right? It can improve one's tolerance for pain. The light bulb just went off for me. That's why you and I are like, I'm sorry, there's an axe in my back. I know, right?
We both have very high pain tolerances, and we like it.
I know. Oh, well, it's so beneficial in many ways. So that's
because we've been having spicy food. I know I just
forever
was putting Cholula on my mom's breast. What? Horrible joke. You know why? Because I wasn't breastfed, and I'm still bitter about it. But and longevity.
Yeah, it improves longevity. So there was a study in China, and it was based on following 500,000 people. So it's really quite a broad study.
Yeah, that's not a tiny case.
It's not tiny at all. So they studied 500,000 people in China, and they found that people who ate spicy foods on a regular basis lived 14% longer than those who did not enjoy a spicy diet.
That's wild.
I know, it's crazy. So
14% is
that's significant.
Like
14%.
People be jumping up and down for 4%, let alone 14. So.
Exactly.
And just for spicy, yeah.
I know.
Ghost Pepper. Ghost Pepper, also my female cop name.
You have a lot of aliases.
I have a lot of it. I've always got to be on the run, huh? I need a lot of it. I have 7 passports.
That's why you're in Canada. You're avoiding the law in LA.
I love animals, but also ghost pepper.
Exactly. It also, so spicy food also increases bone health. Believe it or not, it's supposed to help. There is some scientific evidence to support that it improves or helps settle the stomach.
Well, okay,
which is contrary to what you would think.
I have to say, whenever I've had an upset tummy, which I've had many times, like I don't go anywhere near spice. That's when I actually make sure that I don't. Mm-hmm. So, because it seems counterintuitive that
you would think
a big ball of fire is going to help settle your belly.
I know. Apparently not, though. Apparently it helps settle your stomach. So, so there's also some studies that demonstrate that it boosts antibacterial properties within your gut. Particularly cumin and turmeric, which are also ingredients that are found in a lot of Indian and Latin American cuisines.
And I'm going to say this like a mantra. More and more, the latest science is that the gut is everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that last
episode. It's like 70-80% of your immune system. Like that whole microbiome, do your own research, but it's really radical what they're coming up with, right? Not because everything starts in the gut. So if that's something that can help that, we have to pay more and more attention.
For sure.
That's the wave of the future. It's going to be all about whatever ecosystem, whatever Narnia is going on in your gut.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not to say that, we should expect to sit down and enjoy with a spoon a bottle of jerk seasoning or anything. Like you kind of have to acclimate yourself.
I mean, that's our Friday night, but exactly. You do your own thing. No, of course.
Spread some jerk on toast.
Like anything else, you have to introduce it subtly, especially if it's something. I mean, that's what I'm finding with the whole Wim Hof method that we have me on. With the
just acclimate yourself.
Very gently.
Yeah, exactly. But if you can get to that point.
Nothing should be forced. I really think we want to take our cue from nature, right? Nature never forces. So little by little, though.
Well, when, let's examine nature, right? Like nothing in nature changes overnight. It's about evolution, right? And sometimes evolution can take millennia.
Mm-hmm. So you sound downing like a bottle of jalapenos. You don't often see that.
But I could.
Doing that. Oh, we could. I'm just saying nature's not like, hey, come on, bitches, catch up.
I know. Actually, one of my favorite snack foods is taking the jar of the pickled banana peppers and just.
Oh yeah, fantastic!
I just love that.
I know.
So
we don't even have any internal organs. Like I feel like we should even speak to this.
Porcelain from the.
What can't I put jalapenos on?
I know. There's also some evidence to support that spicy foods help prevent cancer.
Wow.
And who the hell wouldn't want to do that?
Exactly.
And that they enhance mood, and we spoke to longevity and all that kind of fun stuff. So there's all kinds of scientific evidence to support that spicy foods are good for you.
Which, again, introduce it slowly, but I love it. And I mean, oh my God, I just feel it makes everything taste great. So and especially healthy foods that people are like, ugh. Throw some hot sauce on it.
Yeah, spice it up.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Cholula.
I love
Cholula. That's a perfect example too, right?
Like here's the one thing, by the way, and this is bullshit, and I find they do this in Canada all the time. When I ask for hot sauce, don't bring me Tabasco.
I know, but that's
for my Bloody Marys or Bloody Caesars.
I know, but you have to I guess you have to appreciate though that we are in North America, and Tabasco is what North Americans might think is being hot sauce. It's not legit, right?
At Frank's, hot sauce is very popular here. I know that. So, and that's the thing. Like hot sauces really vary. There's like so many different varieties, and they're highly different. Yeah. Like when we talk about sambal, that couldn't be more different than Cholula or
more
different than Frank's or
for sure. There's a lot of
like we're all
cultural
saying.
differences.
So you might find one that that you really dig.
Yeah.
And so to that end, just to pile up on that, and our little health sandwich. So I just, as you know, since I've been here, I've been like, chickpeas, please, in the salad. Chickpeas. I love chickpeas, not just because chickpea is the name of a chihuahua I love in Malibu who used to come on walks with us, but garbanzo beans, as they're also known, chickpeas, I think are delicious. They're a legume. Again, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or you're a giant meat eater.
Get them in your diet.
They're delicious, very Middle Eastern dish for a lot of people. Always put it in salads. But so for the hummus, I had no idea because I thought, all right, you do the recipe and I'll see if there are any benefits to chickpeas. I didn't have enough time for this research. Just Google that. There are hundreds of 15 wonderful benefits of chickpeas. And I mean some really rando stuff, hon. Like not just the mood enhancer, almost everything you said, lowers cholesterol, builds up your bones, which is important, especially for vegans and vegetarians, because people are always saying we're not going to get enough of that. The vitamin A for your eyesight, like helps reduce dandruff, anti-aging, skin. It's so full of antioxidants and every vitamin you can imagine. So everything reverses diabetes, and if like weight loss is another one everybody knows because it's literally what we had for dinner because it fills you up.
It does fill you up.
So I could go on, but think of a benefit and it's there. Whether it's anything from great skin and health, and again your gut and helping for elimination to reduce inflammation. Anti-cancer. It was like I really did. I was like, okay, I don't even know how much more to again, hormonal helps with what we were talking about earlier. I'm not going back there, but it's extraordinary. So the chickpeas are some wonder food, and I don't feel like I didn't know about that. We all know about avocados because that was promoted as a superfood, just like blueberries. There are certain foods that have great publicists, I feel. I knew dick about chickpeas. I just dug them.
Yeah, I have to confess, I didn't realize there was so many benefits to chickpeas
Even more so than a lot of the stuff we've already discussed on the show.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So, and it's because I'm like, it's so delicious.
They are good. They're so delicious.
And they say if you eat them every day, it said the benefits are just through the roof. Like I'm honestly not remembering all of them because it was insane. Great for pregnant women. Great for it's. I think it's because they have almost every possible vitamin and antioxidant.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And we do eat them almost every day. In our delicious salad.
I just dig them. So I had no idea they were that. So just to tell you, it's just like win, 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 win. With, whether you're, and then of course the fact that we put sambal on our, cut to, we're immortal. And it really is. It's just,
we're really 400 years old.
Crazy. It was crazy when I delved into it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to just list it because you're not listening to this show for us to be like doctors and list a bunch of things, but check it out. It's, and also just, do something like somebody did a challenge where they had them every day for 30 days. And again, it's not like a hassle because you can have them in so many different ways and couscous or whatever you're into.
Oh yeah. You can jazz them up so many different ways.
So yeah. And most people I think came to them as just like lentils to lose weight.
Isn't
and then they just found all these other bonus rounds.
These other benefits. Yeah.
I know.
Well, you and I enjoy them even in like a bean salad or something like that.
I know. And it's another one. My mom always made it. I think when I got here, are we out of chickpeas? It's just one of my staples. And oddly enough for me, and I think that you would find this too, dear listener, great comfort food. Mm-hmm. It's not one of those things where you feel like you're eating healthy. Look, let's be honest. All right.
Well, they're satisfying.
Kale's great, but come on.
Yeah, I actually enjoy kale. I have to say, you were like the one because you're an alien. Most people do not enjoy kale, and there's the odd thing where I like it, but it's just really good for you. Yeah,
like a lot. Like you and I love broccoli. A lot of people don't like broccoli, but it's really good. To me, I feel like it's just
you're just eating it wrong.
Exactly. You got to roast it like Beyonce does.
Roasted broccoli. We do this.
That's another thing we put on everything.
Yeah. No, it's true. And it's so good for you. It's high in calcium. But you and I do this amazeballs salad.
We do.
And it's super easy. It's super healthy. Pardon me. A combination of chickpeas and we threw black beans in this
because of our show. Because I said black beans are healthier than kidney beans, and they were yummy.
Delish.
I thought it was just as good, if not better, for the salad.
Delish. Tofu. Yeah, kind of had this kind of nutty texture with the black beans, so it was phenomenal. I normally put kidney beans in there, but so this salad is super easy to make too, super healthy. And
you can put in whatever fennel.
Oh, we started putting fennel in our salad. It's
cucumber,
delish.
radishes, whatever you like.
Cherry tomatoes.
You're not gonna go wrong with vegetables.
Yeah, just throw whatever you like in there. But we also cube up this phenomenal Tex-Mex tofu and saute it in olive oil until we kind of have like these crouton type things to add to our salad.
You love it. Like I don't even love it that like you really like it well done.
I do. I like
when
crispy.
It's just still kind of spongy. Yeah, you like it crispy.
I do like
it
crispy because it's kind of like a crouton, right? I mean, there's a different texture and
it's a protein.
Tofu is a phenomenal protein, but
and again, look at the blue zones. That's any place in the world where people are living 100+ years. And they're eating Asian go-to, right?
So exactly, but. So I prefer to toast up my crouton, my tofu, sort of like croutons,
right?
That's any good satisfying recipe has different textures, right? And
you want some crunch,
exactly.
Yes, and that's why sometimes you put hemp seeds in.
Yeah, that's good too.
Throw the seeds in. I mean, your salads are, and I love salad. And I mean, some people. That's the other thing. People are hesitant because they really don't dig salads, and I get it. I've always loved them, but you got to zhuzh them.
Exactly,
like,
make
really
them
ball
tasty.
Up your like pimp your salad.
Absolutely.
It's not just. No one likes. What's that lettuce that's?
Like iceberg, like zero flavor.
No one likes that.
No.
Okay, no. So my first husband, whom I adore, and Johnny used to say he was allergic to it, so people would put. That's how much he hated it.
Oh my God!
And
really?
I'm like, okay, no one's buying it. We just tell the waiter, please, no iceberg because I'm allergic. Is how much he loathed it.
Wow.
Because again, no one's going to really dig that.
It's got no flavor. It's bland.
Yeah. So, but you don't need to. You can, like throw in the arugula. You can throw in some like fennel is strong.
Yeah, it's a prominent flavor. But if you don't like fennel, don't throw fennel in there. But I use arugula in my salads because I just really love that peppery. But if you're not a fan of arugula, then throw some mixed greens or something in there,
or you don't have to do anything.
Do a frisee salad or whatever.
My thing is I'm not even crazy about a lot of lettuces, so just throw the beans, the radishes, the celery, the cucumbers. Just have it that kind, almost like a Greek salad.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. There are some benefits though to the leafy greens, right? Because
that's what the broccoli's for. Leafy greens are everything. That's why the kale is so.
I'll make you some kale. We've had kale before. We kind of saute it down in a frying pan with some garlic and
I like that. I also like, what they do in a lot of Asian restaurants with like that crispy spinach. Crispy kale works for me too. We gotta do crispy spinach. That's insane.
Yeah, let's do that.
Good. Yeah.
All right.
That's again just
I'm sold.
A lot of oil and so so we've got a bunch of things, and of course, as always, Michael's wonderful recipe will be on his socials and on the Doucheless Vegan socials, so you can you don't have to be paying attention. We just assume you're drinking like we are when you're listening to this. We hope so.
It's kind of a prerequisite in order to get through the hour with us. But
so on top of course, food, we're trying to have you live your best life. Or your
because
second,
we care.
I personally am living my second best life, as most people are right now.
I know.
My runner-up best life here during the pandemic. But so, by the way, because it was a bit of a week, so I didn't quite do the cold showers. But I on the Wim Hof method, WIMHOF method.com. Who's just been all over the news. And so I did start the breathing technique. Now on his website, sweetie, you can buy different online courses, and he's giving, I think, 20 or 25% discount right now. But there's also a free mini course, which is what I did this week because I know a lot about him. So I was like, I just want to know the basics. I have started the breathing, which I really recommend. And then, of course, just like everything else, he's like, you start with the warm shower and then go to cold. So I'm going to start to add that into my daily ritual.
All right. Let me know how that goes.
I know. Does it count that I rinsed out my hair in cold water before the photo shoot? That's all I did of the cold
Maybe.
thing. Yeah, that's all I did the cold therapy. But that was a follow-up to last week. And I really, by the way, please, again, read what it says on the website. When you're doing his breathing, you can't be driving. There are specific instructions. It really shouldn't even be done.
Like, be smart.
Don't be drinking or driving or any of those things because it's almost, and some doctors have called it, it's almost hyperventilating. So you can get dizzy, you feel tingles. He suggests lying down. That's how I've been doing mine. So just be mindful of some of these things when you try them. Don't be gallivanting or
be
just
smart.
Follow what he says on his website. And if you have any underlying health issues, and obviously it's not for pregnant women, it's not for but consult your doctor first because some of these are a little radical. And but yeah, so far, Hercules, I'm a big fan
so good.
Of the Wim Hof breathing method. But I think breath is everything and meditation. And we need to end the show by telling people about the follow-up with the Akashic Records.
Oh, yes.
Bet you forgot. So, I think I told you the Akashic Records, which are basically this invisible realm that documents every thought, intent, action, word that every human or extraterrestrial has ever said. So it's a big-ass library. Right?
I'm kind of visualizing
quantum physics library.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of visualizing. Back in the day, when you used to go to the library, there was that whole Dewey Decimal System of cards.
It is. It's the beyond Dewey Decimal System. It really is.
The cosmic Dewey Decimal.
It is the cosmic. It's like this whole energy around the earth. So I really got into it in the last week, and there are several ways you can access your own Akashic records. Apparently, so I'll just quickly go through those. There's and you can look this up. There's the Sacred Prayer, which is readily available online. There's Linda Howe's Pathway Prayer, also online. There is a little bit of something that I do during guided meditations where you picture yourself in an elevator. I thought this was cool. And when you go in the elevator, you're on floor 3 because we're in the 3rd dimension, and you hit the button for 5 because it's in the 5th dimension.
Really?
I thought that was groovy. Yeah. So apparently it's accessible to everyone, and you don't judge. You just go in there, and then you also close and say thank you. So my older gentleman lover got me this reading with this little old lady who was in Kansas, and I'm thinking, well, this will be fascinating because she doesn't have a computer. She doesn't know who the hell I am. So a couple things, because, I'm always very skeptical. Sadly, I found out that my older gentleman lover is always very proud of me and very enthusiastic, and he told her a bunch of shit about me. So
Probably not what you want to do before a meeting.
Shouldn't have done that. However, in his defense, he said, but that should have nothing to do with your Akashic records, right? Because so I'm excited to hear about my past life. Like, was I Joan of Arc? Was I at least Joan of Snark? Were you
Cortez?
Exactly. When I was burned at the stake, is that because I was roasting someone in an early 15th century comedy central roast? Yeah. So, couple things, because I'm not sure. So I've had 31 lives on this earth because mostly, bitches, I've been really spending time on the other place. Like, I just come back here to do good for humanity.
And then you jet.
And then I go back to another realm where I'm like, woo, what's happening? And, whatever, Saturn. My soul's name is Carolyn.
Oh, my God.
I did not like. She's like, isn't that interesting?
You may as well call it a Karen.
I know. That's the only way it's worse is if my soul's name is Karen. Like, why is my soul a basic bitch? And now, I'm sorry, and if Carolyn's listening, or Karen,
no offense.
It's a beautiful name, but here's what I pictured my soul being called, like Avanthia, Bianca, Xena, Warrior Phoenix. Right? Like something really zhuzhed.
Yes.
It can't be somebody that I roomed with in university. Like, it can't be
Pamela.
Carolyn. Like, I don't want to know that my soul's a Karen. Apparently, my physical health, though, 100%. So it was all these. I also apparently have exceptional music ability. That's where I started to be. I don't know if this bitch is telling me the truth.
Listen, I've heard you sing.
and she's like, well, you might have just skipped a life. And I'm like, oh. Now, here's so a couple of funny things. Like, great, apparently, my messages are really potent. I could make a whole living off of that, just giving messages. Like I'm just like a human fortune cookie.
Well, I will say that, you do give great advice. I mean, you're very in tune and you're very observant, and
That's very sweet.
well, I mean, it's sincerely, right? I mean, you've counseled me on a few occasions.
So maybe, yeah, she said I'm not super psychic as in seen, but I really receive messages. So that's cool. I'm not saying, listen, it was still fascinating. There were some cool elements to it. Obviously, I'm going to like that. But here was the funny part. So she's like, let me just tune in to see who your spirit guides are. Now, one was Gabriel because he's the messenger. That's cool. I think that's my lead guy. Like Gabriel's like the
cool name.
Council president. Well, it's the Archangel Gabriel, right? Like most people get Michael or Gabriel or I don't know, who are the other Ninja Turtles? I don't know a lot about this. And she's like, now, has Debbie Allen passed? So here's the funny thing. I was thinking Debbie Fisher. Because Debbie Fisher and Carrie Fisher had such a powerful mother-daughter relationship. I equate it to mine and my mom. I know it was different, but... So anyway, apparently Debbie Allen, who's still very much alive, is one of my spirit guides. And I'm wondering how she feels about that.
Let's call her and ask her.
You don't often get to Google and then like hit up your spirit
your
guide.
Living spirit guide.
Like, DM me for details. Like I just like gonna slide into her DM on Insta.
I can see that.
Is that
now.
hilarious?
Hey, Debbie, guess what? You're my spirit guide.
And later on she's like, and Lucille Ball is too, but that's because I feel like that's because my older gentleman lover. Like when she knew I was a comedian and stuff, I wanted her to know nothing about me. But yeah, so those were some of the other where I'm like, it's weird to have a living spirit guide and also answers a lot of questions.
First.
Also, Debbie Allen's like, what? I'm not giving you advice. Also, why am I your spirit guide?
I can see your face right now. Who is this crazy bitch calling me right now?
And as a dancer, I love her, but she's like, look, I'm a choreo. I don't have any guidance for you. Please leave me alone. I'm literally like, I'm going to have a restraining order. But you're my spirit guide. And the other thing was, like, this woman is great, but she's telling me all this stuff from, and then I said, well, what was I in another life? Oh, I was a communicator. So there's a lot of vagueness, which
Yeah.
You know how psychics like, you live near a Starbucks and you're insecure. Well, that's fucking everybody.
That's everybody.
Right? So that's how I would be a master psychic. But she also had a Chicago accent. So sometimes she's like, well, let's take a look at your chakras. And that was taking me out of it, too. Because, again, you want anyone who's channeling the other world to have some kind of, whether it's an Indian accent. You know what I mean? We all have our exotic, like, Carla, the wind is in the buffalo. Like, I want some, like, cool... You know how some people just have that Avanthia accent. I don't want Carolyn talking like this. Well, isn't this a crap on a cracker?
Like the Long Island medium.
Exactly. Okay, listen, there's a little girl next to you, and she's always freaking people out. Like, what? Stop telling me. There's a girl. There's always somebody in a rocking horse, right?
Oh my
like
gosh.
That's always the thing. There's a little boy in a rocking horse. Well, that's creepy as shit. Thanks. And also, it never helps anyone. Like, don't just tell me there's a spoon floating around me. Like, I want to.
Why?
You want to know
why?
Am I going to spoon someone? So. At any rate, so I'm going to delve deeper into the Akashic records, but as I said, there's a lot online. I'm super fascinated by it, and I'm going to incorporate it into the next comedic meditation and see if that doesn't work. But in the meantime, we may be on the hunt for another Akashic records reader.
Yeah, so if there's one out there who is listening,
I would like to be
hit
read.
us up.
Read a bitch, as RuPaul would say. When I say I'd like to be read, I don't want you to put me down. I mean, legit, I want you to read me. So that was my, I did want it because people asked this week, how did it go? And I'm like, it's okay. Why is my soul called Carolyn? Like
and why is Debbie Allen your spirit guide?
I'm sorry, that's super funny. And also, she's like, I'm okay, thanks. I like that.
Oh my God, you can't make this shit
up. It explains a lot
up.
that, because I figure that my mom, who I keep, and she's like, your mom's with you twice a month, like a paycheck. There's some funny things, and she's like, you're expecting to be like she was for the physical realm. Like, there's not like some things didn't resonate, but my thing is my mom's a blackout drunk. I'm like, hello, stop partying in heaven, and this, and if my other spirit guide is Debbie Allen, well, I'm kind of screwed. Like, and I imagine Gabriel the angel's got a lot of shit to deal with. Like, he doesn't have time. You were always a communicator. Like, but okay, so that means I could have been like, you know,
you've always had the power of speech.
like, but that, well, yes, but you, like, I wanted an actual historical figure, honey. Like, if I was always if I was a great orator, that could make me the town fucking crier or Mark Anthony. Which is it?
It's kind of a broad spectrum,
right? I mean, if I was a comedian, I could have been the town, like I was like the town gossip back in BC. Me tell you, gossip, caveman, fuck around on wife. Like, I don't know. That's my caveman impression. I don't do accents, but so I felt like,
actually that's not true. You do an incredible Russian accent.
Michael was dealing with Russian realtor agents. Svetlana cuts your cock off. And I said, Michael, I give you a good deal.
Oh my God.
Sure, I used to be a Russian hooker and member of KGB. But now I'm in Barrie, Ontario. And now she just became Dracula. See, I can do it for a bit.
Oh my
but
God, then you lose it. Oh, this is too much.
Because my two languages are French and Russian. Those are the accents I can do. Otherwise, everybody. Marvin. Anyway, I just feel this whole show is a bit fueled by port.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's obviously a delight. But so that was the Akashic record reading. Again, I would like the specificity was what I was looking for. So what was I in the other lives? Oh, always a communicator. I hope so.
Oh my God, yeah.
Aren't we all?
You always had the power of speech, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. So it's still, but you know, readings are fun. They're always fascinating.
Oh, for sure.
They're always fascinating.
If nothing else, entertaining.
Look, I love all this stuff, and I figure we're going to bring it to you every week because you never know what might resonate with you. It might, you know, turn you on or get your nipples hard and then makes your life better.
Well, and there's always some fun stuff going down because let's face it, we both lead pretty ridiculous lives. There's always some fun stuff to share.
Entertain you because our lives are insane.
They really are.
So at least, yeah, we'll just tell you what's going on. But yeah, so that was my Akashic reading.
Yeah, well, that was fun. I got my ab workout.
I know. So nothing else.
Phenomenal.
Gosh. Oh, I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too, hon. I really do. You're like you are my best friend.
No,
you know?
we got that's where my mom was in play, right? Mom was our pimp because if the one thing tells me, and you know, I've forever been wanting a sign from my mom. And I think I told you the other night when I was outside, I'm like, well, I think she sent me to this wonderful horse farm, you know?
Yeah, well, she definitely brought me to you, that's for sure.
And which I keep trying to expand. So, Michael, we had a casualty again on the farm, which always life and death here, which is really giving me a nervous breakdown. But a raccoon got in and killed the hen.
Yeah, killed our hen. So,
I just have a cock wandering around.
I
so,
know. Well,
why?
Why?
You were all exhausted. You're like, listen, I'm the only one here. And I'm like, well, I'm here. You're like, well, you're going back to LA. And I have enough animals. And I was like, and you're like, I brought the ducks in. And I'm like, I just feel like the cock is confused right now. Like,
yeah, and guess what? Amazon delivered an egg incubator today.
That's right. So we might have another hen or two.
Yeah. So Henny Penny had laid some eggs and we're hoping anyway. So hopefully they're fertile and viable and so they're now in an incubator and check in 21 days from now and
when there's 3 kittens, a chihuahua, and some chicks up in my bedroom.
I was just gonna say yes.
It's getting weird in there. Why is there a giraffe door? It'd be like Jerome from the Friendly Giant for our Canadian listeners. Just a giraffe that comes and says hi to me every day. I'm like, hey, what's up?
I used to love that show too.
Except for there was a chicken. That hen was in a bag.
Oh, it was in a bag.
There's a lot of things from our childhood.
Rusty the Rooster.
Rusty the Rooster. We need to question a few things. But
why was there a hand up Rusty's arse?
I know. A million. Well, why did Casey have a mouth and not talk? And Casey didn't have a mouth that moved, and Casey talked, and Mr. Dressup and Finnegan.
And Finnegan the dog.
Finnegan the dog was like a mime. Yeah. Which combined like what I love the most in life and what I hated, and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about Finnegan.
Canadian children's programming.
Exactly. Also, Mr. Dressup had a tinkle
truck.
Well, that was for another
he
tinkle
was
truck.
peeing in his trunk.
I know. A tickle trunk, which still Me Too would have, like, he would have been canceled. Let's face it, everything from our childhood would have been canceled by now.
Oh, I know. I mean,
all of it. I mean, well, Pepe was canceled.
I don't understand that. Like,
they say he normalized rape culture. Also, here's something. He's a cartoon.
No, like, come on.
And, you know, I would just argue, just to be devil's advocate, I feel like Pepe was ahead of his time because he was promoting cross-species love.
Yeah, so
he was not racist because it was a cat. It was never a fellow skunk. It was a cat who accidentally always had a perfect white line down its back.
On its back.
Well, I mean, look, Dave Chappelle does the ultimate Pepe Le Pew routine, but yeah, Pepe and everything's I mean, as Kenny Robinson, friend of the show, said, we're all canceled.
Cancel culture. I know. I mean, the whole thing is up. It's truly shameful. So, you know, and I know
people are playing Grand Theft Audio and killing hookers when they can't
don't
pay them,
understand it.
Video games are horrific.
Yeah, exactly. So there are
cartoons are canceled?
I know. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So, you know, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate, whatever. And when you've lived as long as I am, you can hate on me.
Honey,
but
he heals from wounds to the face. So
I know. I'm an alien. Tread carefully.
Exactly.
So, but you know, it's like we've raised an entire generation of marshmallows and snowflakes.
Well, but look, listen. Life has always been cyclical, right? And the pendulum's going to swing back the other way. So it's
swing back to where though?
Well, I'd like it to reach sort of a nice balance, which is what
we don't want it to swing to the Hitler side of things.
No, we don't want Hitler Trump. Well, that's why Trump got in, because people were so tired of everyone. And obviously, listen, the Me Too movement is very necessary. A lot of these things are necessary. I just don't know that. But what happens with these, personally, is that everybody gets thrown into the same bracket, right? In the same. Yeah. I don't know that you can put Weinstein and Pepe in the same exact.
Absolutely, you cannot,
basket.
right?
So
I mean, call out.
There's got to be levels. There's got to be multi-level marketing layers.
Well, there's got to be common sense. Like, WTF? Like, there's no common sense about this whatsoever. So, absolutely call out impropriety. You know, absolutely call out racism. Absolutely call out, you know.
Which I don't even know why we have to say that. Why are we like 2021? Stop wearing blackface.
But it's a fucking cartoon. Come on.
And again, you know, first of all, which any kid under 40 doesn't even know about Pepe. So, you know, they're not being affected. I'll tell you something. This all hurts my soul, Carolyn. I had to lighten up before we said goodbye. And you don't want to upset Carolyn because she's an HOA. My soul has a shitty haircut. It upsets me with my beautiful mane.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you so Michael's hummus recipe will be available on socials.
Yeah, we'll throw that on
Love
social.
You. Thank you for listening to the Doucheless Vegan.
Yes,
maybe we'll just be the douchey vegan. One more week, we're just like the
douchebag vegan.
Two douchebags and a vegan. So, yeah, stay healthy and happy. And
yes, thanks so much for joining us. As soon as we have our Good Butcher's delivery, we'll work on some recipes with their products. Really looking forward to that. And we also happenstanced upon some other vegan meat substitutes in the grocery store.
Yeah, we're going to try that.
We're going to try those. So we happenstanced. They're all, you know, it's like.
One's pepperoni, which I loved pepperoni, and I know that couldn't have been good for me, but so I'm really excited about the vegan pepperoni.
They're all so the products what is it, Gusto or something like that. They're all seitan based, not Satan.
They're all Satan based?
No, we're not talking about Beelzebub. We're talking about seitan, which is a wheat protein. So if you
think that wheat protein is constantly going, no, it's seitan. Seitan, please stop calling me Satan.
SEITAN. Not SATAN.
No, could someone please pronounce the I? Seitan with an I. There is no I in Satan. we think this is hilarious.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I'm saying, so we'll have all that for you.
So
next
we're going to
week.
try some of that, but just be careful because if you are celiac or gluten intolerant, you can't be having these products because they are seitan, which is wheat protein.
Okay,
So
that's right. So it's not for the glycolically challenged.
Yes.
Oh dear.
or the uber religious.
No. Well, I don't think the uber religious are listening to us, honey.
Probably not.
I mean, it's already, listen, our unlikely camaraderie and relationship with being gay fiance right there, probably they're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
So
change the channel.
Right now they're like, I think Michael Stewart Webb is a lovely boy, but he'll never be entering the kingdom of the Lord, is what they're saying.
Praise
I still
Jesus.
have a shot.
I don't like being cold or damp.
We like hot food and hot environment.
Exactly.
All right, so on that note, which is weird to Seacrest out.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.